What's up guys, this is Jeff from Finesse and Cooking. Today we're going to be showing you how to make Aglio E Olio. It's a very easy Italian dish with few ingredients. Put them all together, it comes out to a really great dish. So first off, I'm going to start off by kind of showing you what are the ingredients you're going to be having. I'll have a list of the ingredients, measurements, and all that going with the recipe at the end of the video and in the description below. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off by cleaning up our garlic. As you can see, we're going to smash it down with the palm of our hands, the tip end towards the side of your board, and you push down on the back end or the butt of the garlic bowl. We're going to throw away all the paper and then we're going to get to peeling our garlic. The way I do it is I take the end of the garlic where it was connected towards the root, and there's usually like a little lift there where you can kind of use your nail to dig on and pull off the paper from the garlic. I do it this way because it causes less damage to the garlic. If you do take the garlic and kind of move it around and push it too hard, it damages the cells of the garlic. For me, it doesn't give you quite the taste and the texture you're looking for. And plus, you want the garlic to have a good body when you're going to be slicing it, so it's easier to slice, easier to hold. It's not slimy, it's not too sticky. And so that's basically what we're going to be doing first, step one. Alright, the next step is I always try to make sure that my board stays clean. You'll see me using a towel to kind of wipe things off. And, it just keeps ingredients separate. And when you work cleaner, your food always comes out better because you're organized and things taste better when you have a clear mind and a clear sight in front of you. So, my lemons. I'm going to cut off the ends of the lemons. And this is going to be all for the purpose of juicing the lemons more efficiently. I have my lemons, and as you can see, I'll get rid of the butts. And now with my lemon juicer, I kind of put it in. It doesn't really matter if you put it up or down, but the trick is that since you have an opening on the other side, you get to push all the juice out or more of the juice out. And it's definitely a more efficient way of juicing your lemons. This is a little trick that my wife found on Pinterest, so yay for Pinterest. And this is all part of your mise en place, your MEP. Once you're done juicing your lemons, you want to set this lemon juice to the side, and oops, I forgot to zest my lemons, so I'm going to have to get another lemon to zest that. The zest is a very crucial part of the recipe because it is what's going to give a lot of flavor. The zest actually gives more of that pop, that lemony pop when you're eating something, more so than the juice itself. The juice is more for an acidic flavor, but if you want that lemony taste and smell in your food, the zest is the trick. And so I'm going to be showing you here really quick what's the best way to zest your lemon. Instead of actually just running across it with your zester, you want to kind of gather it up in that little how would you say that, a little opening there. So you want to gather it all up, again avoiding to get any white pith from the lemon peel. You just want the outer edge, the skin, just the surface, the yellow stuff. No white stuff. Yellow stuff only, good. White stuff, bad. So we're going to set this aside as well, put it in a little bowl or anything that you want to hold it in. Again, very important part of our mise en place. And now for the slicing of our ingredients. So, the garlic. I take off the little nubs, the little hard parts of the garlic because you do not want that to be in any of your food. The purpose of that is you don't want to be coming across a nice soft noodle. All of a sudden you bite into something crunchy and it doesn't quite mash well between your teeth. It's going to be those little butts from the garlic. So I cut them all off. You're not going to use them, just throw them away. I wipe down my board, getting ready to slice my garlic. And I'm going to try to slice it as thinly as possible. The most important thing is that you don't get them too thick, and you're looking for consistency here because you want them to all cook equally across the board. Some garlics are a little round, so what you could do is you kind of have them, you create a flat edge, and you can kind of sit it down where it's more stable and you can cut it a lot more easier. Again, you're looking for consistency and thickness, and I'm using here about almost a whole head of garlic. You really want to get the flavor out from the garlic to flavor the oil that you're going to be kind of making your sauce in with this dish. Again, it's called Aglio E Olio, and if you don't know what that means in Italian, that means garlic and oil, meaning olive oil. So these are your top things in your ingredient list. And I'll probably make another video on different cutting techniques. As you can see, I'm really using the blade here, not so much the weight of the knife, but it's such a sharp blade that it doesn't have to push down so hard. So again, I'm going to gather all my ingredients so I can travel with them a lot easier. I'm going to put my garlic. As you can see, a lot of garlic. I'm going to use all of it because this is going to be the king of your flavor here. And I've got some extra virgin olive oil. The thing about extra virgin olive oil is you never want to overheat it too much because it does have a low smoking point and it will affect the flavor of your oil. If you heat it up too high, it will actually give whatever you're cooking a bitter taste. So I'm going to add lots and lots, probably about a 1/4 cup of the olive oil here into my little saucepan. You can see that nice goldeny glow from a nice extra virgin olive oil. I didn't get anything too expensive, just some basic store brand that we have here. If you're looking for just a little bit of a taste, you don't have to go and spend big bucks, but if you want to, you can. The higher quality of the olive oil, obviously the higher quality of your food that you're going to have. So I got something that's, pretty medium, but it will turn out very nice. So right now the oil is cold, and I'm going to bring the garlic up from a cold pan to a little simmer, if you would, in the olive oil. Right now I'm mixing it up with my spatula to kind of loosen up the garlic so they're not all stuck together. And so now I'm going to turn up my temperature to a medium-low heat, and then eventually you're going to hear it kind of sizzling, and that's what you're looking for. So I'm going to set this off to the side because this will take about 10 to 15 minutes depending on how thick you've cut your garlic and how big your pot or pan might be. Again, so just want to let this cook through. What you're going to be looking for is a golden brown or light toasting of your garlic. Alright, then let's go back to the cutting board. While we have the garlic cooking, I'm going to clean my knife. I'm going to get some of this parsley. And now, the thing about parsley is you don't want to have the stems, because the stems, again, it's going to affect the mouthfeel of your food. You don't want anything too crunchy because you just want to have that nice smooth noodles. Maybe your garlic's going to be a little crunchy, but that'll be pleasant because it's got a nice taste, but you don't want these stems kind of this. So I'm taking off the leaves from the stems of this parsley, and I'm using Italian flat parsley. You can use curly parsley if you want to as well. We like Italian parsley for this dish. It's nice and flat, and it's a little softer to cut. Curly parsley has a thicker or broader leaf, and so it kind of has a different texture when you're cooking it and eating it. So I like the Italian parsley for this dish. Used a whole bunch, which after you chop this up, it might look like a big pile of leaves at first, but after you're done processing it and cutting it down, you're going to have just maybe a full or 2 tablespoons full of parsley. And this gives me a little time to kind of rant about the things I've learned as I've worked in different restaurants and worked with great chefs. One thing that one of my chefs taught me was that, anybody can copy any type of recipe. You can go to a book and copy the recipe from a book. You can take the recipe from one of your old chefs or from a restaurant you worked at, or from an aunt, an uncle, or somebody in the family who says they have a good recipe for X, Y, or Z. The crucial thing about making good food is not so much the recipe, but the way you make it. So this is where the finesse comes in, because anybody can copy my recipes, but this is about finesse. So I'm trying to show you here the best way to work with different types of ingredients, especially something as simple as this. You will make a world of a difference how much care and carefulness, or how careful you are when you're making your pasta dish, the way you cut your vegetables, the way you kind of set everything up. So if you look here as I'm cutting the parsley, I try to cut it as if I'm doing like a chiffonade. Really, really thin parsley, as thin as I can get with a knife. And it's important again to have a sharp knife. This keeps the herbs from bruising, but you don't want to bruise your herbs because it kind of affects the flavor. It kind of pushes out all the delicious liquids that could be in all the oils and natural juices that are inside of your leaves. So it's super important to have a super sharp knife. And as you can see, I'm using the blade, not so much, I'm not pressing down on the herb. I'm actually using the blade to slice through it so that its own razor sharp edge will glide through the herb without really damaging it and just giving me a clean cut all the way through. Again, it's important to work on your knife technique so you don't hurt yourself. You can see I'm using the claw technique, kind of pushing the leaves back. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to push all the leaves together, kind of swivel it a little bit. I'm trying to kind of change the angle of parsley here so that I can get a finer chop. And you kind of come down on it. Take your time with this. This is not something you need to do fast. I know it may look fast. I've seen people do it much faster than I can, but I'm just trying to work things efficiently. But work at your own pace. There's no rush when you're looking at this. Something I learned whenever you make a new dish, you're probably going to mess up the first 2 times. Once you finally kind of learn from your mistakes, you'll be able to master any dish, but you probably will mess up. It happens to all of us. I've seen, head chefs of Michelin star restaurants start off and making a dish and somehow they'll forget to add something or do something, and it happens. So take your time when you're making these. Think things through, try to be careful, and make sure that you're treating your ingredients with the utmost respect as you can. Alright, so let's go back to our pan here. We can see that our garlic is caramelizing. Something about garlic is that it can caramelize very quickly if the temperature is too hot. It can burn, and you definitely don't want to have burnt garlic because burnt garlic tastes absolutely horrible. Light brown garlic is good. Maybe a little bit of brown garlic is good, but once you get past that dark brown, forget it. You gotta throw it out. Your garlic's gonna taste way too strong. It's gonna be very, very pungent to the point where it does not taste good. So as you can see, I'm moving it around a lot to kind of make sure that it tries to cook evenly. And then I'm going to be adding the next ingredient. So the next ingredient we're going to be adding to the oil and the garlic is going to be our chili flakes. So I like to use a good amount of chili flakes. It'll probably just be a teaspoon and a half of chili flakes. Red chili flakes is spicy kind. You want to cook it down. Again, it's going to flavor your oil, going to give you that extra boost and a little kick and spice when you're eating this dish. So at this point, once you see your garlic kind of turning up and getting some color, you can actually turn your pan down a little bit so that it kind of cooks a little bit softer, not so intense. Now, an important thing to cooking noodles, especially when you buy a store-bought noodle like DeCecco or one of these boxed pastas that you can get at any store. Here's a technique that I found that you can use yourself to give you a much better result. Any sauce that you cook with will stick to your pasta, a much better mouthfeel, and everything will look more homogenized. And here's the trick. You're going to take your noodles and you're going to take, for me in this case, I'm going to be finishing the pasta in a regular pan. So what I do is I get my pasta and I'll break them in half and I'll put them into my saute pan, and I'll actually add water to my saute pan covering the noodles. Again, you might want to just cover it a little bit more, so it kind of looks, you have to kind of judge this with your eye. What you're looking for is for the noodle to start cooking down. You don't want to evaporate all of the water that you have into your pan right away. So yeah, start it off with a boil and then slowly bring it down once you see that the noodles are kind of softening up. You can see that they're al dente. Al dente means that they might be a little stiff still, but for the most part, you want your noodles to cook through most of the way. Let's say about 90% of the way you want your noodles to cook through with the liquid that you have. And I'll show you what we're going to be doing with the liquid here. So while I have my noodles cooking inside my saute pan, I've turned off the heat on my garlic because it's cooked through. The flavors have infused into the oil. The garlic and the chili flakes are both going to be tasting really strong. The oil is going to help carry that flavor on throughout the entire dish, so that every bite that you take of this pasta dish, you'll be able to get a full flavor impact. So I've cooked my noodles down. As you can see, they're all very soft. They're definitely a little bit more than 90% of the way cooked. But what you can notice is the water has evaporated and it's come to what we call pasta water, basically starchy water. It's super important because it gives your pasta sauce, any sauce that you add to it, some viscosity to stick to with your sauce, with your pasta and your sauce when they mix together. So I'm trying to show you here that there's kind of like a little viscosity. You can see it getting thick. Do not throw away this water. This is absolutely crucial to making great pasta. And I'm going to be adding my garlic, olive oil, and the chili flakes all into the noodles that I've cooked with that pasta water in there. So you want to mix it all through very well. Give it a good toss. Get your spatula and make sure that you get all of the oils and the garlic spread out through all over the spaghetti noodles that I have here. Actually, these are linguine noodles. So you're going to see that. You can even see kind of on the side of the pan how everything kind of just starts sticking together. It almost looks creamy because of that pasta water. And I'm going to go ahead and add probably a good tablespoon of your lemon juice. Use all of your lemon zest, add it to the pasta, and you want to mix. And I'm cooking this over a medium-low heat because I don't want to burn my pasta. I don't want to evaporate all of the liquid because I'm still using it to kind of homogenize it. And so this is pretty much almost done. So what you want to give it a good mix so that everything kind of goes together. Again, you want it to stick to the noodles, and you want to get the flavor of the garlic and everything onto every part of the pan here. And then once I've got everything mixed together, I'm going to turn off my heat. I'm going to add my chopped parsley, and I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to use almost all of it because you want it to kind of give it that color. It gives it that fresh look, and it freshens up the taste a little bit so that it's not super strong. The balance of the lemon zest, the lemon juice, the garlic oil, the chili flakes all kind of sum up together and give you an amazing flavor. And always taste your food to see if it needs more seasoning. Here you can see me getting a little fork and taking a bite out of my pasta. Yep, definitely needs a little bit more salt. So I'm just going to hit it with a little bit of my kosher salt. And then the rest is up to you. You can serve it right away, which I highly recommend. I kind of just put it up into a bowl, finish it off with a little bit of pepper. But this is good to go. I think you guys will really enjoy this. This is probably a technique that you may or may not have seen before. But the key parts of this pasta dish is making sure you save that pasta water, cooking your garlic very carefully. Don't overcook it. Make sure that when you cut things, you cut them neatly. Make sure you are clean. Have everything ready to go. Even your bowls at the end. I had my bowls right next to me, so as soon as I was done, I could just pop it right into the bowl and enjoy my pasta. Again, you guys feel free to contact me. You guys can leave me a comment below. I'll leave a link to an email address where you guys can shoot away with questions. And I'll probably, depending on how you guys like this, and me and my brother are kind of having a good time making videos together anyways. So we'll probably be making a few more videos on different techniques in cooking and things that we kind of like. Yeah, enjoy. Thank you so much for watching.